current global refugee crisis isn't news to anyone. It's been in the media non-stop ever since the photo of Aylan Kurdi was released, a 3-year-old Syrian refugee who was found dead on a Turkish beach. But how exactly does something like this happen? When Bashar al-Assad succeeded his father as president in 2000, the Syrian people were optimistic. They were sick and tired of political instability and were ready for a much-needed change. But that didn't happen. As the government lost power, it became even more oppressive, to the point where public expression became a treasonable act. When civil war broke out in 2011 between the Assad regime and the rebels, over 11,000 Syrians fled their country within a span of 24 hours. Protests and underground movements popped up everywhere, dividing the country between Sunnis, the rebels, and Shiites, those who supported the Assad regime. Seeing an opportunity to capitalize on the instability of the Syrian government, Al-Qaeda began to gain ground as well, which later fractured to form ISIS. Now we have Assad, the rebels, the Kurds, and ISIS all fighting while nearly 8 million Syrians are displaced and over 3 million Syrian refugees who want no part in this war are moving to places like Lebanon, Turkey, and Jordan. In 2014, Turkey became the world's top refugee hosting nation with 1.59 million refugees at year's end, 1 in 5 of those being Syrian. In 2015, that number jumped to nearly 1.9 million, and Turkey is now the #1 destination for displaced families, taking in almost half of the Syrian refugees to date. Compound all of this with dramatic media coverage and rampant xenophobia, and you get a world where people don't really want to take in refugees, especially not Syrians. There's a widespread belief that taking in Syrian refugees will somehow breed crime and terrorism in our communities. I wanted to find out for myself what the life of a refugee is like, so I traveled to Turkey to meet one. I met with Zen.
How are you?
A Syrian who fled from the war and violence going on in his country. While most of his family is still in Syria, his brother, Ali, escaped to Romania 2 years ago, and ultimately, that is very much where Zen would like to be.
I'm Zen, and I work as a freelance motion graphic designer, and I used to study English translation back in Syria. I'm a chilled out person, like free-minded. I watch Family Guy, I watch Simpsons. South Park is one of my favorite. Back in Syria, I have my father, my mother, and my sister. Living situation in Syria recently is very bad. No one can do anything. It's a war there. There's a mandatory army service, so I'll have to fight, which will be against my will. So I have no choice left, just to leave Syria. I applied to go to Romania to my brother. Because of the refugee crisis, my request was not accepted, so I went to Istanbul. I've been in Istanbul for 2 months. I work here in my room. Syrian situation in Turkey is not that good.
The stereotype is that Syrian refugees are all criminals or they're extremists. It doesn't seem like that describes you in any way. Right?
No, people prejudge me just because I'm from Syria. Okay, I was born and raised in Syria, but I'm not one of them. I'm atheist. Like, Turkish people are very nice, but I'm trying to get to Romania because my brother lives there. I know a lot of people who have gone in the boat and they are in Europe now. A lot of them are my friends. My friends want to go to Europe for the same reason I want to go. Live freely, and no one want to live in a country that has war. In October, I decided to go by an inflatable boat to Greece so I can continue my way to Romania, where my brother lives. When I called my cousin, he gave me the number of the smuggler. He called me on October 6th, and I bought all the stuff, and then we continued to Izmir. There's like 2 guys preparing the boats because it's inflatable boats, so you have to be prepared. After 40 minutes of being in the sea, the commanders showed up telling us, go back to fucking Turkey. They were wearing black masks. They don't seem like Coast Guard. We should go back to Turkey. There is 4 Iraqi guys on the boat, and they decided, no, we'll continue. They made up their mind and they turned the boat to the Greek shore and they continued. Then the ship saw us, they got to us and tied our boat to their ship. And they rigged their engine, so they cannot move anymore. And then we had to go up to the ship, search us for money or anything we have. After they took the money and the cell phone, they made us go back on our boat. They left us in the sea about 1 hour. Luckily, there is a guy who had hidden the phone in a bag on the boat. He called the Turkish Coast Guard, and then they arrived and got us back to Izmir.
Zen told me that a few days before I got to Istanbul that he had received a care package from his brother from Romania. It was filled with some of their favorite toys, trinkets from his travels, and a letter. Since my next stop was Romania to meet his brother, Zen wanted to return the favor and make a care package for his brother that I could deliver. Nothing too fancy given his financial situation. Just a few items that he thought his brother would enjoy, like snacks that they both used to enjoy back in Syria that you can't find in Romania. He even used the same box that his brother sent to him. Brajov is a small town in Romania with about 275,000 people in it. As a whole, there are hardly any refugees in Romania, as most asylum seekers travel through Romania on their way to Germany and beyond. Zen's brother Ali has been living here for 2 years, and I wanted to find out how he ended up in this unlikely place.
I had a friend here, he's also a designer. When the war broke out, he's like, you know what, I'm gonna try to see if I can get you a tourism visa to Romania so you can come here and hopefully see what we can do next. And he actually sent me a tourism visa to Romania. So when I came here, the guy in Bucharest is just like, you know what, like since you're here, it's well within your rights to ask for a refugee. Maybe you can stay here. I applied for this refugee and they gave me an answer after like 2 months. They gave me a Geneva Convention passport. The feeling of going to the airport here in Romania and passing through, I felt like just a normal person, you know, because you never get that with a Syrian one.
Why Brajov instead of Istanbul?
In Romania, you get a refugee status. Now you have every right a Romanian has, apart from voting and going to military. In Turkey, people are treated like guests. The whole thing is just a temporary thing for him. I just feel bad if my brother is living this way or my parents. I hope they can come here as soon as possible.
To learn more about the plight of the refugee, Ali took us to the ICAR Foundation in Bucharest. It was there we met Dr. Camilia Doru, a medical doctor and mental health professional of 25 years.
We didn't have a lot of refugees before 2006. It was difficult for them. They are landing in the place they don't know, language they don't know, culture they don't know, and most of them with the rest of the family somewhere else. So even if they are safe here, they are not okay psychologically because they don't know what's happening over there and they don't know what will happen with them here. You can see all attitude for and against refugees, but here in Romania we don't really have a xenophobic attitude and we live together. We don't care so much who's coming from where. What is the best way to heal people? To behave naturally and to be humane, I think. To understand that they are human beings as we are, they have the same problems. That's why they are coming to our organization.
I'm really not in it for like free money or governmental aid. I can take care of myself. I don't want to be treated differently to any Romanian citizen. I just want to have this exact equal opportunity anyone else has. I just need a stable and a safe place to work in.
As our meeting with Ali came to an end, it was time to open the package from Zen. I wasn't sure what to expect. As he carefully inspected everything Zen had picked out for him, he was clearly touched by the thoughtfulness displayed by his brother. But the letter, however, had an impact on another level.
He said, I hope that we will reunite soon. My brother, see you soon.
It was at this moment that I realized exactly who is being affected by what's happening in Syria and what this war was costing them. The people displaced by this conflict come from many different backgrounds, and although we constantly hear stories about the worst of them, it's imperative that we remember that among these refugees are regular people, doctors, lawyers, farmers, and yes, brothers who both share a love for design. In fact, Zen is the one who animated the graphics for this boat scene.
Not all the refugees are the same. They have careers and they have their own life. They just want a safe place to continue their life.
Do you think your brother's gonna make it here?
I hope so. They have this new program, which is if you have any family in Romania, they can send you an invitation and they can sponsor you to come to Romania. They actually want to host people who are interested in coming to Romania and living in Romania. And that's the case with my brother.
I hope that I will go to my brother in Romania in a safe, legal way. I will consider Romania my new home. I will fit in this society because I want to.
If this works, it's gonna be like a dream come true.
The fact remains, these people need our help. So it's going to be up to all of us to find a solution that will protect our countries and help those who are facing their most desperate time.